The amendments cover a few areas. I think you have the actual amendment motion. It's about 6 pages long. Don't worry, it actually doesn't read so long. The first one is actually with regard to the definition of students. Pasal 2, definition of students. What we find is that the amendment increases the coverage of the laws on students who are part-time, students who are correspondents, students who are postdoctoral students. You may be 60-year-old, have a grandchild already, and yet you are covered under the UUCA Act in terms of all the restrictions that is put in place. So it seeks to amend it by changing tidak melingkungi all the distance learning students, the part-time students, the postdoctoral fellows, the postgraduate students. So it will only cover the undergraduate students in this particular case. Under Pasal 3, actually this refers to the appointment of the Vice-Chancellor by the Minister via a special search and evaluation committee. This is one of the key proposals within the new UUCA. What we find is that proposal does not go far enough in ensuring that the changes will be institutionalized to create a system that will elect better vice-chancellors for our local universities. What we have suggested here is to keep our universities in line with all other top universities in the world, whereby the selection of vice-chancellor is done by a select committee directed by the board of directors or the university council of the respective universities. So instead of, so what I did was menggantikan perkataan menteri dengan perkataan lembaga penggarah menteri and memotong perkataan dari semasa ke semasa. Dari semasa ke semasa means as and when they want to do it. So in this particular case, it becomes something that they must do, and the direction comes from lembaga pengarah university. So that's the Pasal 3. And then you have Pasal 8. Okay, Pasal 8 is 1.5 page, but it's actually two simple matters. One, this is the most contentious bit of the UUCA, where you are forbidden from joining any political party. You are forbidden from joining any so-called illegal organizations under the laws of the country. And number 3, you are forbidden from joining any organization deemed unsuitable by the Minister of Higher Education. Okay, these are the 3 restrictive rules. It is not only restricted to joining these parties. Under 15.5 ABC, you are not even allowed to show sympathy for political parties or for any supposed illegal organizations or any organizations not approved by the Higher Education Minister. So that's number 1. So what we did is to change it. Okay, we understand that there are concerns about students joining illegal organizations, about students joining violent organizations. So we have changed all 3 clauses into one, where pelajar hanya dilarang daripada menyertai mana-mana pertubuhan sama ada di dalam atau di luar Malaysia yang diisytiharkan oleh pihak kehakiman negara sebagai mengancam keselamatan negara, hubungan mesra dengan negara lain dan ketenteraman masyarakat awam. So only such certified organizations by the Malaysian judiciary will be banned from students being allowed to join. So all 3 will be joined into 15A, and this applies in 15.1, 15.5 and 15.6. Okay, there's one more clause under this Pasal 8 that is very interesting. Section baru 15.6A, which says that a student is not allowed to make any academic comment, statement, presentation on any subject other than that the student is specializing in. Okay, which means that if I'm a mathematician, I cannot make a statement about English literature. If I am a scientist, I'm not allowed to make any comment on economics. Okay, or because the definition of the law is so vague, because it just says It just says yang berhubungan dengan perkara yang pelajar itu terlibat dalam pengajian atau penyelidikannya. So if I'm a specialist in contract law, I may not be allowed to make any statements, presentation on constitutional law. It's as ridiculous as that. And we all know the top thinkers in the world, whether it's Aristotle, Socrates, or even the more modern ones like Stephen Hawking, they are multidisciplinary geniuses. We amended 15.6a to read as membuat pernyataan mengenai, so pelajar tidak akan dihalang untuk membuat pernyataan mengenai sesuatu perkara akademik. As long as academic, it doesn't matter what field it is, he is allowed to say it without having to obtain separate permission or whatever to talk whatever they want to do. Now 15.6b, which is related to the first one, is that academics are not allowed to make any, presentations, even on their subject matter expertise. That means if I'm an expert in constitutional law, I'm not allowed to make academic presentation on the constitutional law if the event is sponsored by a political party. So what they are saying is effectively is that DAP cannot organize forums on economy, because then we cannot invite economic experts from the academia to join us, or we cannot organize, the Pakatan Rakyat cannot organize a forum on the environment, because we can't invite the geologists and the technical experts from the academia to join us, and because they are not allowed to participate in this event, which I again think is ridiculous. Okay, Pasal 12, very easy. This is with regards to punishment of students who are charged with criminal actions. What the amendment says is that they can be punished, they can be expelled, actions can be taken against them once they are charged. We believe that this is against the principle whereby you are innocent until guilty. So what we have done is essentially change the word di pertudo to di sabit, which means that they are found guilty. Okay, only when they are found guilty, the university can take whatever necessary actions that they want to take on the students. Pasal 14, section ini dipotong. That means we remove the section from Pasal 14 altogether. This is actually another very simple but very highly impactful section. It basically means that the staff of the university are no longer regulated by the 16A of the Akta Ibu. What it means also is that the academics in these universities are now regulated by Akta Badan-Badan Perkanun, Surcharge dan Disiplin dan Surcharge, which means that it's the same act that governs the discipline of normal civil servants. Now, we need to differentiate between academics and normal civil servants, because we can understand why normal civil servants need to have a secrecy clause, they need to keep everything prim and proper because you don't want things leaking out and so on. But academics need to have their space to speak up, freedom of expression and so on. So without space to speak up and being subjected to punishment for speaking up without permission, I think that is a very, very harsh disciplinary clause to put on our academics if we want to achieve academic excellence. Okay, and finally on Pasal 26, which is the longest list, but it's actually the simplest to explain. The new law also requires the minister to appoint legal officers, penasihat undang-undang, legal advisor to the university. We don't understand why this is necessary. I think there are law faculties in our universities, the university board can hire their own legal advisors. Why is it that the minister must appoint designated legal advisors to these universities? You can also see from this segment, okay, if you look at the actual Pindaan Akta, the minister controls everything from Bursa to your Ketua Pustakawan. Ketua Pustakawan also controlled by the minister, to even when a university opens a cawangan baru, the minister appoints the Ketua Cawangan Baru, which I think is overly regulated. I mean, there's no reason why when you open a cawangan, the minister also must appoint the Ketua Cawangan. But right, this should be delegated to the Lembaga University.
Or the VC.
Well, Lembaga University. Otherwise, VC also too much power. Okay.